lot of divorces have been happening lately. It's like divorces in the air. One day, it was 4 divorces announced on the Shade Room. It was Tom Brady and his Victoria's Secret wife, Gisele. What's her name? Like Gisele, something with a B, right? Isn't she like? I think she's like German or something. Because the way she has like, doesn't she have like the dots on her name? Or like, I
don't know.
But you know, Gisele, she's one of the most popular ones. The most shocking to everybody was Tia Mowry and Cory Hardrict, because like people loved them because of the show that they were on. What's that show called? I forgot. It's a really popular show that they were on together. I don't know if that's where they met, but I think they were dating on the show. But then you had Nia Long, but no, that was really that was the cheating thing. You had what's the guy, Miguel, and Naz. I think her name's like Nazanin or something. Which they earlier this year, I think, right, or like last year, said that they were divorcing, but then they worked it out, and now I guess they're divorcing again. And then you had these two people from the show, like Love Is Blind or something, from I guess some reality show that everybody loved on the show, whatever, like married, and it was like one of the shows where you married somebody like that you met on the show, like something stupid. So I just feel like it was just crazy seeing all these divorces happening. And one thing I kind of wanted to touch upon, but just what's her name, Tia and Cory, and specifically like people. One thing I hear about on the internet is, first of all, I feel like anytime a couple, like a relationship ends or like a marriage ends, it's always people questioning, oh, what did he do, right? Like, why is it always one thing that gets me mad? Why is it always it is the man's fault probably? Like for Tom Brady, it's he put his career first. He retired and he went back, and yeah, that could be a reason. But it's like, why is that like such like, people are so for sure like that's why it ended. Oh, Miguel must have did something. Oh, Cory, he was miserable. You saw him, all his TikToks, he hated her. He probably cheated. It's always like, why is it never like, what did the woman do? Don't you hate that? Like, I feel like it's always that same sentiment that it's the man's fault for a relationship ending. Like women think they're so perfect and in every situation they could do no wrong. And as a man, don't you hate that?
I wish men would stop procreating with these women. The whole oh man. I mean, part of it is kids that are on the internet, and I don't think that people really take that into account.
No, it's grown women.
No, I know there's grown women too, but
because they be the main ones because they're miserable. They went through their own stuff, and they don't see that they were wrong.
Yeah, I just wish that men would stop procreating with these women so that they could like fall off the face of the earth.
I know.
Yeah, because anybody that doesn't have common sense, like you even see like the guys that try to prove the double standards with men and women to all those TikTokers that do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's like this is kind of like the general consensus and thought, and like
I hate it.
The problem with the internet is that it's like the petri dish that just allows just bad takes, bad opinions. People inherit their personalities. Like we were just talking about this. People inherit their personalities based on content that they see online. They inherit all the slang. Like you got people in Germany doing Brooklyn dances, like
and talking about y'all. Like nobody outside the U.S. should be saying y'all. Nobody outside the Southern America should be saying y'all. I don't even say y'all. Sometimes I type it. But with me, my grandma was from Mississippi, and my mom said y'all because she grew up with a Southern mom. So it was in my house, if anything. Like your parents in Germany are not saying y'all, so why are you saying y'all?
Yeah.
I hate that. That's a whole different conversation. But I think we talked about that already. People picking personalities.
Yeah. So men stop procreating with these women that have these horrible takes, and everybody's identity was displayed on the internet.
Yeah, I just hate that because it's like there's no growth as a human being as a woman in thinking that a man is always the reason a relationship ends. Like I hate that. It's like, oh, what did he do? And people just automatically side with the woman. Like it's first and foremost, sometimes people just aren't compatible. They just aren't. And I think maybe that was the case with Tory. I've seen Tia and Cory together. I think that might be the case with Tia and Cory. Like, I don't know them personally, but from people using TikTok as like he looked miserable in TikTok. I just see that as, first of all, he just might have like some people's faces. Like he might not be miserable. He just has like this his face. Like not everybody shows emotion the same way. Like people be excited about stuff. Like there was a popular thing on TikTok where there was this guy, they called him Couch Guy. His like long-term girlfriend surprised him at college, and everybody was, oh girl, he cheating on you. Like it was a huge thing. If you type in couch guy on TikTok, like you'll see it was mad. People recreated it. Like she pulled up on her campus, he just looked kind of like regular, like oh like. But he might have been really happy and excited inside, but it's just he didn't show it the way about most of the internet. Like they want the man to be like, oh my girl, and like jumping up and down. Like we're all different. Everybody shows happiness and excitement and love different. Like you analyzing his face in a TikTok and thinking that's why the relationship ended.
I think that there's two issues here. So I think that there's the women that didn't get what they thought they were going to get out of their lives. Yeah. So the older women, either failed relationships or the relationship they're in is not what they imagined it to be, like the Disney Cinderella princess story. Mm-hmm. And then I also think that there's the generation of women now that grew up watching these family YouTubers and the De'Ara and Kens of the world, and their perception of what a relationship should look like is based on YouTube content. And people don't understand that YouTube content is entertainment. It's exaggerated. Yeah. There's emphasis on certain things because that's what gets people's attention. If everybody just acted how like a normal relationship works, you sitting around watching TV.
Like there's times that you will be over there sitting chilling on your phone, watch TV. I'm over here in this opposite the couch. Doesn't mean we don't love each other. Like that's the reality of a relationship. Like no one. That's why people don't survive these long-term relationships because they think everything got to be I'm like under your skin. Like yeah, when we cuddle like and like we have our moments. But realistically, a long-term relationship or long-term relationship, that's how it looks. You over there and I'm over here, and it's still love. We still are having like a bonding moment. We don't gotta be like like people swear everything gotta look a certain way. Yeah, and that's not possible. Like it's not realistic.
God forbid my man wants to not record a TikTok.
And that's
that she's forcing him to record.
And that's nothing too. Like this just might not be what he's into. He's trying. He might not be upset, but he might just be like, this is not me. Like he seems shy. Like he seems like that might not even be his thing. And yeah, he's still there. He could have said no and I did it. Like and I think they just might not be compatible. Like she might need somebody that's on that type of time that wants to make TikToks, like that wants to do all that stuff. It's like, or just make the TikToks on your own. But if you want him in it, then find somebody who's if that's important to you, if that's so important, then find somebody find somebody that's on that level who prioritizes, who wants to do it. And that's men out there who you see the men who be making those corny TikToks and they be on there with their girls. Like what's that guy Special K from Vine? Him and his girl Carla, like he might be looking at the money, but their whole relationship is like they're a huge brand, So he does all the little cringe stuff. And maybe they really work in real life. Like maybe that's who he is because he did Vine.
Or it's just a purely entertainment.
Yeah. Or it's
I'm not familiar with his videos, but
No, this one video and people were actually clowning it online. Like they did like spooky night. Like so they record themselves setting up the blanket, making all this food, making all these cookies, putting on the movie. All stuff laying down and had like there was angles. It was like the up angle of them kissing, the side angle. So but someone was like all that moving the camera around. You didn't even enjoy watching the movies. Matching pajamas. This is like find it.
Yeah, and that's the thing because they're making,
and that's fine. Cause they could just be low level actors. Like they're acting, they're creating content, and that's fine.
And realistically,
but it's not realistic.
All YouTube content is not for adults, like for older people. Yeah. Realistically, all YouTube content is for kids. Like the Mr. Beast videos, the gaming videos, all that kind of stuff. There's no grown people. They're not a big consumer of that kind of stuff. So all this is for kids. So when they're doing all that little QT shit, when young women, teenagers are on TikTok and or on YouTube and social media and they're seeing these things, that's the audience that's like
they're so impressionable.
It's tailored towards. Like that's what we're having this conversation about Kai and the streamers where people be screaming and like they're playing a video game and the guy throws a controller through the monitor. Like all that stuff is for kids. It's entertainment. It's not like that's real life. Yeah, like you shouldn't be doing that in real life. Yeah, it's all entertainment. So this is what it's catered towards.
Yeah, like look, you see all this. Like, come on, you tell me two people, these cookies and drinks and stuff, like setting the candles up. Like, yeah, people definitely do this in real life, like for sure. For sure. But it's like it's people. This is people's expectation. Like, look all different camera angles. Like, come on, like you think that's like.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
And they might have really enjoyed after they turned the camera off. They probably really did enjoy the night. Like, I'm not saying they didn't, but it's like people think that this is if you're not doing all this, then he don't love me. It's like no, just find somebody that does that. Some people don't prioritize spooky night. Like some people don't care about that, But then you have kids who watch all the stuff and they think this is how a relationship is supposed to look, you know? Like me personally, I'm not making couple TikToks. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. This is like cringe to me, you know? But for some people might not think it's cringe. And the Cory guy might think it's cringe. Like, we're grown. You know, why are we making TikToks?
Yeah. So, you know, who knows? Or maybe he was miserable, but,
yeah,
you know.
And that kind of creates another conversation. Because people on social media think that men stay in miserable relationships longer than women do. They say usually women will usually leave. Like women, I feel like women are actually the ones that file for divorce more.
Oh, of course, because they get more of the benefit.
They do.
They get all the benefit. Yeah, men don't benefit at all. You're never gonna get anything. True. But yeah,
I do think men stay miserable.
Yeah, I think men like the idea of a girl, like a woman, and then they become miserable either because it's easier to stay, it's cheaper to stay, it's less of a headache because what are you gonna do? Leave your headache here to go run to another one?
Yeah.
Or they still continue to like the idea of who they thought this woman was or who they hoped her to be, and she's not that, but he's just gonna stay there anyway and just be miserable through it and either cheat through it or just, you know, be on unalive yourself watch.
Yeah.
In the relationship.
That's what this girl on TikTok, she was saying that she met this guy, like her friend met this guy while they're out, and he was married, and like just unprovoked, like they were strangers. They was kind of have a small talk with him. Unprovoked, he was like, you know, say he was married, but it's like, but I hate my wife. It was like, whoa. Yeah. But it's like, that's scary. Like, you know, like I will hope, like you. I mean, I'm not pinning on you, but obviously, like as a woman, I guess I understand that feeling. Like you will hope somebody's not doing that. But I think also too, as a woman, you know, like if somebody don't like you or not. I feel like women hold on too. Like they hold on too. But like, yeah, the girl on TikTok was like, the guy was like, yeah, I hate my wife. Like honestly, I met her at work. Like she was my assistant or whatever, and like we just kicked it off, and then I ended up just marrying her. She has my kids, and like she cooks and stuff. Like you know, she's comfort. But he's like, and I love her, but I'm not in love with her. I was like, and the girl was like, dang, I just met you 5 minutes ago. Like, why'd you just tell me all that? But sometimes men, we needing to vent.
Emotional support. Men need emotional support just
but
like
I think
women do.
I'm gonna call. You know, I call men too. That's dumb. Like you shouldn't say you're miserable. I don't care if it's comfort or if it's comfortable and safe and the structure. Like no, leave. Just leave.
But then you.
But then you do that and it's trash.
But now I gotta lose half my shit.
Yeah.
Especially if you initiated it, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna sit here, save my money. Because if she initiates the divorce, she's getting half your shit, and if you initiate it, she's getting possibly all your shit.
I always emphasize too. I think people marry prematurely. Like the internet's a funny place because people make rules about how long you should be with somebody, but then also we see how high the divorce is. So it's like, which is it? Because you guys have a fear of dating the wrong person or marrying the wrong person, but then you're also telling me that you should be married to somebody under 4 years, like of dating. Like that's stupid to me. Like you don't know somebody in 4 years, in my opinion. I think it takes at least 6, 7, 8 years to really know somebody.
Damn.
And even then, well, no, I feel like, yeah, you know what? Maybe a little less, maybe 5 years. Because there's so much to learn about people. Like there's a lot. Like people have so many layers. You have your childhood, what you've been through as a kid, how your parents were, how your school life was. You know, that's a whole different layer to people, like how school went for them, you know? Then you have like their fears, then you have like their mental health, their, you know, physical health. Then you have what their habits are, what they like, what they don't like, how clean they are. You know, like that's why people argue about living together before marriage. People think that's important because, you know, to learn those habits. If, you know, what the type of food they like, what they're allergic to. There's so much to people, you know, what their love language is, like what they like, what they don't like, you know. If how they plan to raise their kids. Like people learn all this stuff as they go instead of questioning it before you make that commitment. Like you're not gonna learn about somebody and how they want to raise their kids before you actually let them just go and, you know, come inside you and create a kid. You're not gonna try to really learn somebody and everything about them before you marry them, sign documents binding you to them. You're not gonna really want to know them. You know, it's just dumb. And people can say whatever they want. I hate, like, that's why I be fighting tooth and nail anytime people try to criticize how long we've been together. I'm like, we're not going to get divorced, though. Like, you have higher, like, yeah, we don't know that. Anything can happen.
Because that's where I wanted to cut you off.
It's not going to happen.
Because the thing is, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Put your hands down. Stop touching me.
Cause you're my best
Get off
friend.
Me. Stop talking
people
to
don't
me.
People don't date the people that they actually like.
We're not friends.
Yeah, we're best friends. We are.
No, but what I was about to say was circumstances change and people change. Women have kids, then hate their husbands afterwards.
Yeah, they neglect their husbands.
There's a point in everybody's life and career where they realize they're just gonna be in the middle of the road, or
midlife crisis.
Not like a midlife crisis, but just the realization that like you didn't exactly shoot for the stars.
Yeah, like
and you're just regular.
You might like some people who dated around probably are really satisfied with their decision because they're like, yeah, I've seen enough. Like, I know this is like a good pick. I think you don't need to date around.
No. I mean like literally, like I'm gonna make $60K a year, and my life is just gonna be mad normie.
Oh yeah.
Forever, and then it settles in, and then you end up hating the person because it's like your life didn't skyrocket. Nobody became a millionaire. Nobody achieved a ton.
When we're in our teens or 20s, I think people have like this delusion a lot of times, and they have like you said, these dreams. So like even at our age, there's probably people our age who still feel like, yeah, I'm still gonna get that million. Yeah, I'm gonna be famous. Yeah, I'm gonna be a model. I'm gonna be this. They probably still have that in their mind, and it's like instead of actually setting themselves up for a realistic life of still making decent money and still living good, they just sit around with those delusions. And like you said, then they get to that point. That's why I do still feel like it's elements of like a midlife crisis. They do get to that point where they realize, yeah, this is it. This is how my life is gonna be. And so they just get mad, erratic, and they just, I want to start a new life and live and be young again and date and do all this,
Yeah. So.
It's sad. I mean, I pray that we don't get to that point, but I feel like it's very easily not to get to that point. Like I feel like I see people like your parents. I see people like, there's this one TikToker whose parents, like, you could tell like they literally like in love with each other. Like my old friend from New York, like her parents, like the one who does OnlyFans, her parents literally, like, she posted TikTok because like she did my contact, so like we don't follow each other, but I still see her TikToks because she's in my phone. And I saw she posted one of her parents. I'm like, oh, I miss them. But like you could tell, like they're not even on social media. Like they just really love each other in real life. Like, and they've been together like 30 years, So I feel like it's very possible for that stuff to last. I just feel like people don't find that run. Most times people don't find it. They rush. They feel like people care about the wedding. Like everybody just cares about how the wedding looks. They care about the whole spectacle of it. And like that, they have, since they're a kid, like you said, that princess mindset. Like, oh, I'm a princess. I'm having my fairy tale wedding. But like, do you actually love the person you're with, or are you just settling so you can have your wedding in your 20s? Like this big wedding that you wanted. I don't get it. And the women changing up once they have kids is sad. I would never. Like, that's why when people, people make those scenarios, and this is like, we're going to be getting canceled, like you said, if we actually, like, had a following. But those scenarios of, like, oh, who would you save, the wife or the baby? It's like, to me? Oh, to me.
F them kids.
No, but it's like, I mean, not to say that, like, your husband or wife would come first, but it's like, you were in their life first. Like, I feel like nobody should come first, in my opinion.
Why'd you even bring this up?
Everybody should be on the same level.
You could have skipped that one.
Like, you and our kids are going to be in the same level of importance. Like, they're still a human being that I love and like I knew well before these kids. And
this is applicable to men too. It's not just a woman thing, but
I just bash women because I'm a woman.
Pick me.
No, but I'm a woman, so it's easy to bash myself because I actually have accountability. Like, a lot of these women walk around with delusions, no self-awareness, never want to take themselves accountable for nothing. How can you not say where you went wrong? Like, it's always someone else's fault. I hate people like that.
You know what's crazy?
It's never your fault. You never did nothing wrong. Everybody else is just crazy. I hate that.
You can see, like, as much as, again, as YouTube is content, when you do watch certain things and like the TikToks and stuff like that, it is a pretty good sample size, because everybody does that. Walk up and I'm gonna interview all these people and let me hold my phone out on this popular street and get 100 million interviews, and everybody does that now. It's like cheap content to me. I hate that shit.
It is.
But with that being said, when you do get the content that comes out of it, it is a pretty decent sample size in terms of understanding the mentality of, the way people think, right? Like, we were watching the one video, they seen the blue check, and then like, it's like, the mindset is like,
you really see the eyes.
Yeah, you
like,
see they get rattled, right?
And like you can see the mannerism, like the subconscious or conscious mannerism. Right. Be so funny. And she was all like,
yeah, right. So
now you trying to look cute.
And I would believe that to be more common than not in terms of mentality. Like I would say that probably 95% of women would
Maybe
kind of
80.
I would say 95. Women care about status. You're going to treat somebody differently if they have some perceived status or like money. And I'm not going to kill people.
But the reason I say 80 is because there's a lot of women I see on the internet who seem like they're not fazed by that at all.
There's a lot more blue checks. But in general, like, in my opinion, or again, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that the TikTok culture and the I'm young and have money culture, which is really what it is. I'm young, so I make like stupid decisions and wild out and do dumb things, and I have money. That combination of that, I think, is so attractive to everybody that they follow that. Like, I can bag 120 people and I'm popping, and I got these basketball players DMing me, or same thing with men. I got all these women DMing me, that kind of thing. That whole like mentality and culture, I think, is infiltrated everything. I think it's more popular than ever, especially because of TikTok. Like I was telling you, these kids are gonna watch these YouTubers getting all these girls, and then they're gonna want to emulate that.
And they're gonna copy literally the same lingo,
right?
Pickup lines.
And God forbid they actually get that status, and oh my God,
the head below, like the blown up ego.
It gets crazy.
Oh my God.
So
it's gonna be scary.
So though, that being like the general like personality of both men and women in today's day, is going to lead to a lot more failed relationships.
And I see why people say it's ghetto out there. Like I'm so happy like the way my life panned out. Like I'm actually really grateful the way everything worked out for us, because it was like I feel like we were like that last. I mean, I don't know, like, I hate speaking on the world when we only see our scope. But I do feel like we were kind of one of the last people that really like authentically met like in person. Like I can never see myself on a dating app. I don't know. Like that's just a whole different foreign world to me. Maybe that's why. But like that's so crazy to me that I never ever ever in my life even I don't even know what these websites look like. I never been on their websites, never had the apps, never created a profile. Like because when we met, that all that stuff was new. First of all. Like, I remember, like, black people meet. Like, I remember seeing the commercials on TV. Like, that stuff was out, but, like, how did I look in high school, and black people meet? Like, what?
Do you remember Hot or Not?
No. Sounds familiar, though. But, like, all the ones I knew, obviously, were eHarmony, Black People Meet.
What was that?
And then, obviously, you hear about Tinder and Hinge. But, like, I'm hearing these things from online or through other people. Like, I would have not even known what these things were.
Well, I was on a dating app in high school.
You were?
Hot or Not used to be I think Tinder
I'm actually shocked that I didn't even go like dabble into that like when I was in high school. But I feel like I just didn't. I was just under the impression like this is not like it's like that's like the last resort. Like I was like I'm gonna meet my man in college. I've had a feeling I was gonna meet you.
No, that's the hack.
I like the old fashioned way is unbeatable. Like somebody made a TikTok saying like they like miss those moments. Like they don't. It's like not like they want to go back, but they were like just saying how like. Thinking back to those moments when you first meet somebody, like that's unbeatable. Like going on an app and meeting somebody and arranging a date doesn't beat me seeing you at freaking Wild Bowl and like sitting next to each other in a car, like in the shuttle, and like us talking and like playing pool in the freshman lounge, like, and then us cuddling on the floor. Like nothing beats those moments, like of when you first meet somebody and it was like butterflies and stuff, and like
it's tough. Because
I feel like it's like not forced, but it's like you're like cheating almost, like going on an app and like.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest hack. Because it's tough. It's like.
But technology, you should use technology to your advantage, and I feel like it still could create very like it's easy. It's, it saves a lot of wasted time and heartbreak. I get that.
To me, it's never been difficult to do that, like face-to-face interactions, personally, but. It is not easy. Like it's not like a easy sort of like.
You're right, because I feel like it came easy for me, and that's why I speak in such a.
Yeah, it's not easy to
privileged place.
Like imagine. It's not easy. You can't walk up to. So for example, I actually just saw a TikTok like this where this guy asked women, if you were a man for a day, how would you go about like getting a girl? And everything that they said was exactly what they reject.
Exactly, because like as a man, I feel like you can't win.
He was like, one girl was like, "Oh, I would just go up there and be like, what's your snap?" And then like hit her up, and then that's how she would do it. But then she said, said at the same time, she was like, that won't work with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not easy.
And I get that, and that's why it's like I said, I speak from a privileged point of meeting somebody at school, because really, if once you get out of school, I can't imagine that. Oh my God, like okay, yeah. See, that's why I gotta put myself in people's shoes, because I would be so lost. But yeah, I would be so lost. But because I mean, me personally,
well, you're a woman.
Yeah, so never mind. Cause I was like, but like, it's like my interactions with people like in public. It's like it's just the catcalling, whatever you call it. Like I never had like, I mean, as far as I know, you never know people who approach you might generally be interested. But it's like, could you be interested in somebody in the industry? But I guess things had to start somewhere. So I mean, I guess as a woman it is easier, but not necessarily, because I still see in my own eyes like people that I know struggling in the post college. Like meeting somebody in school is so much easier. I think college is like people what they most look forward to, because at least it's away from your hometown. You have a chance to meet people who like, you don't want to be that person that's married to the person you met in high school, low key, unless that's like your soulmate. So like college, I think is everybody's like goal where they're gonna meet somebody, and when it doesn't happen for them, it's like full blown like that post grad depression.
It is kind of easy though. I think the toughest thing.
But school was mad easier. Like,
it would be so much easier for men if there was like is she single or nah, like above her head. Yeah,
because that's the only thing I do. I like.
That's tough.
I'm an empath, so I be feeling bad for everybody. So like literally, like when people like approach me in public, like obviously like I'm not lying, but they can probably think I'm lying. But I don't know why I feel bad, because it's like, dang, like I feel it took you enough courage to like approach somebody, and you get turned down. Like that gotta hurt. That gotta be ego.
But it depends though. I think it definitely will hurt.
People. No, but you gotta feel the way every girl you come to, and you probably think you're lying, like, oh, she don't got a man. And meanwhile, yeah, I do. Almost 8 years, like.
But that's what it is. Me personally, like that's okay. Like for me, that would be okay. If the thing is always I got a boyfriend, like fine. But if she doesn't say that and you don't progress, then that's kind of like a on you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't work through the I have a boyfriend thing, but you can work through everything else. So if you just had like a way to know whether they have a boyfriend or not, I feel like it's kind of like low key easy to at least approach, like, and be like.
Because that probably is that initial fear.
Yeah.
Approach somebody that's.
Because it's simple. God be like.
And the thing is too, you might be scared because what if let's say someone approaches me like while we're in like Stop and Shop or something, and like you went to go get like your stuff, and now like that's probably like crazy too, because like that now you like as a man you might be scared like the man's gonna pull up on you and like what you doing, like. Because like I mean I'm not sure men that proactively think that, but that would be something as a man I would be like worried about, like approaching some girl and like you don't even know her man's like you at the movies, her man went to go get the drinks and you trying to talk to her, and meanwhile he come up and like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she's at the movies, she's probably not by herself.
Yeah, but she be with friends. People go to movies with their friends.
Do they? Do people go to movies anymore?
I mean, not anymore, but we're a 96 baby, so my whole childhood was movies with my friends. But
it's simple. Just go up, hey, just wanted to say, put my number in your phone right now. That's my game.
Babe, you've been out the street for 8 years, so that didn't sound right to me.
Put my number in your phone right now. Nah, but like, in all seriousness, I think it's like pretty simple.
Nah. I mean, as a girl, I would admit, I think if me and you didn't meet and I was single in the post-grad world, I don't know if I would have as much problems, but I mean, that's why with the whole dating app thing, like I said, I don't really judge it, because people still use social media as like, even if it's not a dating app, people still use social media to reach out. App. Yeah. Instagram, Twitter.
Nah, you just gotta let that thing fly and get your confidence up.
I noticed though a lot of people that be like mad confident be like ugly.
What else we got? We're not even gonna entertain you.
But yeah, just going back to the divorce thing to wrap that up. Like my whole thing is like this. There's issues that happen on both sides. Men and women could be wrong in situations. And like with the Tia and Cory thing in particular, like I just feel like they just might have not been compatible. Like sometimes it's just as simple as that. You just have different compatibilities, right? Like sometimes it's really just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I need people to stop freaking out when these divorces happen. But I do think a lesson we could take from these divorces is like, please really take your time to get to know the person before you make that. That's a big commitment. And people who are really religious, that's a commitment you're making to God. So it's like, I don't know why people take it so lightly and feel like there has to be a time limit on things. So